Hello, welcome or welcome back. My name is Freya and I am a knitter living in Glasgow with my wife Karina and my two cats Kiska and Nanook. So welcome. This is a slightly different video to a normal knitting podcast. I am going to tell you all of my knitting plans for a summer in Scotland. So I was going to jump on the spring project ideas video, but then there was just so many good ones that I just had nothing to bring. And also living in Scotland, it's not the hottest all the time. It can be hot if we have a heat wave, or if not, then I can wear wool every day still, pretty much. So instead, I was thinking of just my knitting plans just for summer in general, and I was like, surely there's a lot of places like Scotland where it's not hot all the time and people are knitting a mixture of like tees and tanks, but also like maybe cardigans or light jumpers or something. So I thought it was a bit different, and I thought I had a different view to give. And hopefully you'll like what my plans are. So as always, I'll have links to everything I talk about in the description box below. I'll have timestamps, I'll have links to my Instagram and Ravelry. I have also all of the things I talk about I've put into a bundle on Ravelry. I think that's what it's called. So I'll put that in as well if you're wanting to see that. I have it all on my laptop because on Ravelry you have all the notes and I wasn't going to write it all again. Do you know what I mean? So if I'm looking down here, my laptop is here, and I will be looking at like what it's called and all of that. So yes, there are a couple of patterns. Well, I've started 2 of them, and I have yarn all ready for a couple of them also, and I will also tell you my yarn ideas for the ones that I don't have the yarn already for. Hopefully that would be helpful or interesting to see what I'm thinking. So let's just jump in, and hopefully I've not forgotten anything. So I'm gonna jump in with a really frustrating one to show, probably because it is a test knit that I am currently doing, and it is called the Helix Pullover. It is by Jessie Maed Designs, and this is the test knit. So it is a rib lace pattern, so it looks tiny, but it's gonna like block out a lot. This is actually, I think the final garment is like 41 inches, so it is going to be oversized, which is perfect. So Jessie Maed does already have a pattern out in this stitch pattern, but just a different design construction. It's like a halter neck with like a cold shoulder, but this one is just a pullover without any of that stuff. So I'll show you a close up. So the minute I saw this being like the minute I saw her post this design on her Instagram, I wanted to test knit it. Well, I wanted to knit it, and it was an open test call, and I managed to, you know, put my application in like really quickly. So I did get picked. I don't know if that had a you know, made a difference to whether I got picked or not, but I really wanted to get this test knit, so I'm super happy because I think this is a perfect design for the climate, for what I want to wear this summer, and just the design I love. So it is a long sleeve pullover, and I am knitting it in a very special yarn that I cannot, it's over here. A very special yarn, and because this takes up, I think I need like 670 meters for the size medium in my size. And the yarn that she used is expensive yarn, but it is a mix of, I believe, something like a cotton viscose silk mix, maybe, I could be wrong, but it's something like that. And when I was looking, and it's a sport weight, I think, when I was looking for a more budget friendly yarn that had a similar makeup, it was quite hard to find a substitute yarn for that yarn, but I found a couple, but I really wanted to get a mix that had silk in, and I found this one, which thankfully was on a sale. So I think I got a whole quantity for this jumper for maybe like £21, which is really good considering it is made out of Noro yarn. So this is the yarn. It's so pretty. It is Sonata in the colourway Chartreuse. It is a cotton, viscose, silk and polyamide mix, and it is a single ply, which isn't the best. I'm not thrilled that it's a one ply, however, I had no choice. Beggars can't be choosers. And also I loved the content of this yarn, and also the fact that it is, you know, it's not one straight block colour, it's got some variation in it, which I love, and also it's Noro yarn, and I really want to knit with Noro yarn. So anyway, I'm really happy with how it's knitting up. The only thing I'm bothered about is the fact that it's single ply, so it's a bit more delicate and it's a bit more prone to pilling. However, I don't think I'm going to be too hard wearing on this, which, you know, kind of makes up for it. So yes, the reason why I love this for the Scottish summer is that it will give enough warmth at the same time as, you know, allowing a breeze through, and, you know, it feels like it's going to be very temperature regulating and a good piece to throw on top of a lot of different, you know, outfits or tops. And yes, I'm very, very, very excited for it, and I have already started planning my next one. Okay, so annoying one out of the way, none of the other ones are test knits and all of the other ones have been released. So let's move on to my next one. So I will give like a disclaimer to say, obviously I'm not going to be able to get around to knitting all of these. I have quite a few that I want to knit, but not all of them that I can knit. So I'm going to sort of point out which ones that I definitely want to knit. Yeah. So my first one is actually one that I'm definitely going to knit, and it will be the second time I've knit this. So this is actually the top that I'm wearing just now. I'm not wearing a bra, so I'm sorry if you can see my nipples. I don't know what you can see, but this is called I want to call it the Melides top, but I know that's not how you say it. So I'm not going to try and pronounce that any other way because I am awful at that. But it is by Vertices, and I test knitted this last year, and it was my favourite test knit I've done so far in terms of like, you know, talking to the designer, talking to the other test knitters, how it was set out, etc, etc. Anyway, you don't need to know that. But it is also possibly my favourite, like, would you call this is this a tank top? I would just call this like a sleeveless top in like English. But yeah, anyway, because it is the perfect mix of a basic with little design features that make it, you know, unique and more interesting than just like your basic vest sleeveless summer top. So this one I knit out of 100% cotton by, I don't know, but it knit up really nicely in that yarn. So I am going to knit my next one in definitely a plant-based yarn. I'm not sure like if it's going to be 100% cotton again. Maybe, probably, I don't know. I still haven't dived any deeper in planning the specific yarn for it. But I love it knitted in cotton, so probably just another cotton, because that's super affordable. You know, I've already got the pattern, I already know that I love this pattern. Maybe this is quite in fact very similar very similar to to that, so maybe I'll knit it in a more neutral colour. I've always I've become a bit more bolder in not being as afraid of knitting with black yarn. I think this would look amazing in black. Possibly not, because then you can't see the little like dark details. So maybe, I don't know, like a white, that would be amazing. It would be amazing in 100% silk. I wonder what she knit it in. She knit it in Knitting for Olive Pure Silk. That would be fun to invest in. We'll see how much that is, and I basically have no budget for yarn at the moment, so maybe not. So moving on, I hope I'm like not talking too fast, or maybe I'm talking too much about each item. We'll see when I watch this back. So my next item is called the retro button top. I don't know if I've already said this, but I actually need glasses and I'm not wearing my contacts, so I can't see my laptop very well, and I also have a mirror behind my phone to see if I'm in shot, and I can't really see that very well either, so if I'm leaning in and squinting, it's because I can't read this. It is called the Retro Button Top by Whittree Design. And it is another sleeveless vest summer top. This one I love because, again, it is the same concept in terms of like simple, what's the word? Simple silhouette with a little design feature twist. So it is a button up. It's got buttons down the middle. And I actually am really into cardigans at the moment. I keep seeing and thinking about knitting cardigans, and I feel like this is like a cardigan top. And I just love the look of buttons at the moment, and this is a little summer top with buttons, which I would love to knit. So this one I'm not sure if I'll get around to, just because I'm going to prioritise knitting a second one of this, and I don't know if by the time I finish this I really don't have a need for another top like this, but this is definitely one I want to knit at some point. I mean, I can definitely like knit this at any time of the year and use it as like wearing underneath a cardigan or something like that as like a layering piece. So I'm not gonna like put this in a box of like just knit in summer, if you know what I mean. This one's knitted in worsted weight yarn, so I do not know what yarn I would choose. Maybe Drops, is it Bell or something like that? I knit the ballerina wrap top in the yarn that I'm talking about wanting to knit this in, and that was a really nice yarn. It's like a cotton viscose linen mix by Drops, I think, and that is an Aran or a worsted weight, so I believe that would work really well with this one. So yes, I love that one too. So jumping on to the next one, this is the So Summer shirt by Jessie Maed Designs. Jessie Maed, for me, when I think of summer garment knitting, I automatically just think of Jessie Maed and what designs of hers I can knit, because they're reliable, they are written well, they're size inclusive. I love the way she writes her patterns, and I just love all of her designs. I just do. So this one is just a plain, simple, basic, wear anytime, any day with whatever trouser or outfit, top, t-shirt. I wanted to knit this for like a good like year and a half, but I haven't got around to it. But I think, well, I've got the pattern now, so I am probably almost definitely gonna knit this. This is definitely gonna be on my priority summer t-shirt knitting plans. Just because it is such a basic versatile garment. She knits it in Ritual Dyes Undine. What is that? It is a cotton and linen mix. So yeah, I'd have to look into what to knit that out of. Probably just a cotton yarn. The good thing for me about these little summer tops and projects is a lot of them, you know, I would want to knit out of plant fibre yarns, and obviously it is a lot cheaper to get those in terms of like getting a good quality one. I don't really know what I'm trying to say here. Basically you don't need as much yardage, and also plant fibre yarns can be cheaper than wool. And also I do love the feeling of plant fibre little tops. I don't like the feeling so much as plant fibre jumpers. Not that I've knit one, I don't think, not for a long time anyway, or ever. I'm not the biggest fan of knitting with plant yarns either, but I love how they feel in summer garments, so it's a give and take really. So moving on to my next planned design, it is the Ripple crop top by Jessie Maed Designs. Again, this one I have wanted to knit for a very long time. I've been putting it off because it's a light fingering, and it's at like a small gauge, and it's ribbing, and I can lose interest in ribbing quite easily. So and also I really want to invest in a good yarn for this one, so I don't want to spend money on good yarn, then get bored of it and then not finish it, and then feel guilty because I've not finished it and it's just a whip. So I'm really trying to like pick the right time to knit this, but I am like aching I'm aching for the final product of this one, so maybe this will be more of like a product knit instead of a process knit. That being said, I'm sure I would enjoy knitting it. I enjoy knitting all of Jessie Maed's patterns, so I doubt this would be an exception. That one's kind of the same vibe as like like the Melides top or the retro button top in terms of it being like a basic like staple but with a twist, in terms of it being like a rib and also a v-neck, and I really want to make it a deep v-neck. I love a deep v-neck. I am not the biggest fan of like a shallow v-neck, but I love the look of a deep one, and I think that has a deep one. So moving on to my next one, which is the Umbria summer top by Cookie the Knitter. Now this one is like a mixture of a couple of the other ones. So it is a broken rib design, button down little tee, like sleeveless cardigan vibes. This one, I think I was like just delving deep into Ravelry and I found this one and I just fell in love. It wasn't till like later that I realised it's at such a small gauge that I was like, oh, maybe I won't knit it. But I think I would love it, and maybe that would be a project knit instead of a process knit again. However, I have weirdly been like craving to knit broken rib for some reason. I don't know where it came from, but I really fancy knitting it. So I don't know, maybe this one would be a good one. I don't know. This is the thing, is that I'm like, there's so many I want to knit that I just don't know which ones to choose. And for every one I'm like, right, yes, this is the one. But we'll see, I think, you know, after I knit this again, or after I finish a couple of the ones, then I'll have more of an idea of what like my hands want to knit and what my brain wants to knit, and what will make me happy. So I love this one. I love the look of it, you know, how she has it in the picture, slightly open. It looks, because it's such like a thin fabric, I believe it would be, I think it would be so versatile and just to throw on with a pair of jeans and completely elevate the outfit. I think this is one that you know, just makes the outfit. What am I trying to say there? It's like it automatically makes the outfit a good outfit. I don't know how to explain things. So yes, I don't know what yarn I would choose for that one. For that one she uses Knitting for Olive Pure Silk again. One of these days I will invest in that yarn, just because I see so many people knit with it and I get influenced quite badly. It turns out. I didn't think I did, but since like, it's just, I just want to know what other people like. I just want to feel what other people feel, if that makes sense. So yes, maybe that will be the one I invest in. Am I going to say that for everyone? I don't know. So now we're moving on to slightly warmer garments. The ones from now on, all of the ones from now on, I would be knitting in animal fibres. So that's the end of the plant fibre garments. So the next one I want to knit, and this is a definite gonna happen, I have the yarn, half the yarn for it, is the Late Summer Wrap by Knitting for Olive. So when I was getting married last year, I bought some fancy Ching fibre yarn to knit myself a wrap top cardigan thing to wear over my wedding dress. However, I could not find the perfect one, so I ended up just like, I was gonna make up my own design, but did not have the energy of brain power left over from like planning a wedding to then knitting and writing my own pattern. So I just knit the cottage cardi out of just one strand of the Ching fibre mohair, which I ended up not wearing because it was a heat wave. So yeah, but if this top or if this pattern was out, this would be the one that I would have knitted. This is exactly what I was looking for, and I'm gutted, but at the same time I wouldn't have worn it anyway, so yeah. So this is obviously a wrap. It is fingering and lace, which is a combination that I love to work with, and it doesn't use up, or maybe it does use up. Oh no, this isn't the pattern I have the yarn for. I'm getting confused. So yes, I really want to knit this one. So my plans for this one, I'm just looking down the specs. So I knit the cottage cardigan in one strand of woolly knit cone British 4-ply held with a kid silk mohair, and I love the fabric that makes in terms of like it holds its shape, it doesn't get like misshapen, it wears really well in terms of like feeling new for such a long time. So I was thinking about doing that combination just because I like that combination basically. I do have a sweater's quantity of Ching fibre fjord and a drops mohair in like a brownie colour, and I was thinking about doing that, but I'd have to swatch for it, and I didn't massively enjoy knitting that combination of yarn. I already knit the Elizabeth blouse by Petite Knit in that combination of yarn, and I wasn't a massive fan of it. So I think I need a longer break from knitting with that yarn before going back to knitting with that yarn. However, I do have a sweater's quantity that would work for this pattern, so it does make sense just to use that for this. So yes, I adore this pattern, and I wish it was out like a year ago, but it wasn't. I also think it's perfect for the climate in Scotland, because you can put it on over a little top and you can take it off, and it's open enough that, you know, you can be warm with a breeze, and you know how it works. So my next one that I want to talk about is another wrap jumper thing, but this one is the Levitate wrap by My Favourite Things Knitwear. I'm sure many have heard about this. Now, I follow her on Instagram, and I kept seeing her tease this design, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting for it to be released, and I was so excited because I really, really wanted to knit this one. And then I looked at the specs of it, and I thought actually the other wrap top would be a lot more wearable for me in terms of like the climate, because this one is a lace and a DK, and I just thought that would be a bit too heavy in terms of like it would be too hot. It would be like a weird in between of being too hot and then with such a deep V. Like, does that make sense? I hope it makes sense. However, I do adore this one as well. I think the cut is very contemporary, and I love a boxy, oversized number. The other one, the Knitting for Olive one, is a lot more fitted, and I think that's also what has sold me on knitting that one over this one at the moment. Just because I feel like I have a lot of oversized stuff already, and I think in summer I feel a lot more motivated to knit stuff that isn't as oversized, and I really want to explore that further. But I do really want to knit that one, but I have to think a bit more about what yarns I would choose, and be quite careful, because like what I was saying, I think it would be a weird mix of too hot and too cold for certain temperatures. I hope that makes sense. Anyway, so now moving on to a couple of cardigans. The first cardigan I want to talk about is the Champagne cardigan by Petite Knit. I've had this in my queue for the longest time. I've wanted to knit it for ages. However, this is one pattern that I've kind of been putting off because I want to invest in the yarn, because I know that once I knit this, I'm not taking it off. So it is it's a DK with a lace, and in order for this to be affordable, for me, I would have to knit it out of drops. And a lot of the jumpers that I've knit up until this point has been drops Flora held together with drops mohair, and the combination I would have chosen if I used drops would be drops mohair and drops Lima, which is like the thicker version of Flora, and I was just absolutely scunnered of knitting with that combination, which is why I was like hanging on until I perhaps had the budget to, you know, get better quality yarn. Not better quality, that's unfair to say, to get more luxurious yarn. But then a really extremely generous and such a kind subscriber and viewer messaged me and said she wanted to send me a sweater's quantity of mohair. It is lang lace mohair, and honestly I think I might have cried because, or like, if I was to, you know, I don't have the budget to buy it basically, so to be able to try out such a beautiful yarn, I think is just, you know, such a, like, the ultimate gift to give to a knitter, I think. So honestly, I am so thankful and grateful for you to send me this yarn and for me to be able to try it, because it's dangerous, because I have like fallen in love with this mohair. I'm gonna get it out and show you, then talk more about it, but I'm gonna rustle, so just a pre-warning. Okay, that wasn't very rustling. Okay, so this is the mohair. I don't know how much you can see. Can you see that? This is the mohair. It is 25 grams for 310 meters. What is the 58 mohair and 42% silk? So this is like very, very soft and luxurious. So this is thinner than typical like mohair silks. So I was actually looking and comparing it to other like luxurious and, you know, beautiful mohairs, and it actually surprisingly works out as one of the more affordable high-end mohairs, in terms of like you get a lot more meterage, so you need to buy less balls. So I'm kind of hooked on this mohair. I kind of am. So the reason why I am is because it is a mohair. However, it has a lot more of a delicate halo and a delicate, you know, more soft and subtle look. So I'll show you the garment. Oh, did I say that I'd started knitting this? I don't know. But I've done the body, and I've done the body, the button band, and all I need to do with this is the sleeves. But I had to put it on hold because I started the test knit, and I was very sad. So, yes, it is black. So I don't know what you can see. Let me see if you can see, oh, I didn't mean to knock that. Let me see if you can pick up the subtlety of the mohair. I don't know if you can because it's black. Can you see a halo? I probably would have to compare it to like a typical like kid silk mohair maybe, for you to really see the difference. But I love the subtlety of this mohair. I keep saying it. but yeah, it's like butter. It's like butter, really soft. It is really, really gorgeous. I'm looking down because it kind of looks like moth eggs on this, but I think it might just be crumbs. I hope it's just crumbs because otherwise I'll be very upset. I don't see how a moth could have gotten in there, to be honest. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent now. So yes, I'm just gonna put it on. Why not? So what yarn? I'm looking in the mirror, by the way. Probably very distracting. I'm excited to block this out because it is, you know, I really want it to sit nicely. I'm rambling so much about this one. So because she sent me such beautiful mohair, I thought I need to jump on this and take advantage of the fact that I can afford a more you know, higher end like wool to hold together with it. And I believe the pattern does actually suggest, let me see, Sandnesgarn double Sunday. Yes, it does. So I got Sandnesgarn double Sunday. Now I decided, because I'm getting more confident in knitting black basically, and for this cardigan I wanted it to be like the perfect basic cardigan that I wear all the time. So I decided, I've got mohair in my mouth, I decided to just go there and do black. It is more mottled because the mohair is lighter, but it's still black basically. So I got the black double Sunday, and I'm very happy with my choice. It's like the first, like, because I'm pretty much knitting the exact suggested yarn, it feels like really special because I've like never done that before. So I really feel like I'm getting the authentic what's it called? Champagne cardigan vibe. So yes, as you can tell, I'm very excited about this and I'm very excited to finish it. I'm quite glad that I was forced to stop because it means I can prolong the knitting and really, really continuing to enjoy knitting with it, because it is one of the nicest, it's definitely the nicest mohair. I have to say it is the nicest mohair that I've used, and it's a really nice combination of yarns and I'm really enjoying it. It's like butter and I'm honestly itching to wear this, and I will wear it every day, and that's not an exaggeration. So yeah, that is the first cardigan I want to talk about. I hope I went over everything there. Probably not. So my next cardigan, so I actually got the, let's see, Sandnes Garn 2302 DIY. I got that pattern booklet. Why did I get that? Oh, I got it for like a stripy jumper that is also in this like summer plans video, so I'll talk about that later. But so I got that for that design and for a like a mini scarf design, and also just because all of the other patterns in the book looked like something that I would knit as well. Maybe not now, but definitely in the future. There are a lot of cardigans in this book, and a lot of them are, it says a rib design, but I believe that is like an abbreviation for either brioche or half fisherman's rib or fisherman's rib. I don't know because I haven't read through the pattern yet. I've just read what's online. So this is either brioche, half fisherman's rib or lace, I don't know, cardigan. And I probably have been very much influenced by the likes of the Agni cardigan by Petite Knit, but obviously I've got this booklet now, so I don't need to buy that pattern and I'll get the same vibe from these cardigans. There are a couple, but this is the one that I picked out as like probably the one that I'll knit, and it's the Brook cardigan. There's not really much to say about this because I'm not planning on knitting this. This isn't in like my priority list of knits, but I'll probably end up knitting this maybe in autumn or winter, which kind of goes against the summer planning video ideas. But I put this in here because it's a cardigan that I like, and cardigans are pretty much perfect for the Scottish summer climate because you can put it on, you can take it off. Yeah, that's basically all you can do with a cardigan. But so yeah, I've not spoken a lot about that one. I don't know why, but probably because I'm not going to knit it anytime soon. Anyway, let's go on to my next one, which is a jumper. So this is the sweater number 21 by My Favourite Things Knitwear. This is also one that I have started. It is over there, so actually I'm just going to get it. Why not? So I started this. I bought it like the day it came out, and I had already bought the yarn for it, and I started it like the day it came out and the day that I bought it because I was so excited to get this. I'm just gonna open it. I was so excited for the final garment, but I wasn't like super mentally prepared for the fact that it is all over lace. Like, I feel like I do that to myself where I'm like, oh, I want it so badly, but I don't mentally prepare myself for knitting it. For some reason, lace, I don't get on very well with lace. I love knitting things that are the perfect combination of mindless knitting with also a couple of points or places that I need to concentrate on. So, you know, I have some parts where it's very mentally stimulating and other parts where I don't even need to look at the knitting and I can just knit. Just so there's more like a up and down, give and take rhythm to, you know, to knitting it. However, all over lace does not have a rhythm to me. The Helix Pullover that I spoke about at the beginning, that's a 2-row repeat. So actually, it took a while, but actually I have slowly been able to, it's slowly being more and more mindless. I still have to concentrate, but not so much. However, this one is maybe a 4-row repeat. I could be wrong. I believe it is, which is less mindless. It is more mentally stimulating and mentally, you know, takes up a lot of energy. However, I have got, like, I've knit the back and forth. I'm now in the round, and I think in the round is easier than back and forth, if I remember correctly. And I do really want this. Like, I am still super excited for the final like garment. I did go through a phase where I was like, I'm gonna rip that out and make something else with the yarn, but I never, oh no, it stopped. But I never really, you know, ripped it out or took that any further. Oh, this looks a bit silly. It will like block out a lot and it'll be more open, I hope anyway. What was I gonna say? I can't remember. Basically, the reason why I put this one in the summer plans video is again because it is very open. It is thick yarn. It is Drops Air held together with Drops Flora. So, and it's on maybe 9mm. I don't know, I've took the needles off so I can't remember. So it is super thick, bulky like yarn. However, because it's so holey, it allows a breeze to, you know, pass through. So it's perfect to put on over like a little strappy top or something to be warm, but then also to allow, you know, airflow. So it would be perfect for, I don't know, it would be perfect for a lot of the days in summer in Scotland, basically. So I do really want to finish this, however it's not high on my priority list, just because I am knitting a lace design just now, and I probably won't feel like knitting lace again for a while. However, I have also been reminded that I do actually want to wear garments that are lacy, so maybe that will, now I've got fibres everywhere, so maybe that will motivate me to finish this. We'll see. I hope so, because I do actually really want the final garment. So, moving on to my next one, and this is the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knit. So I've knit this one before. I cannot remember when I knit it. However, it is one of my most worn jumpers, garments, whatever you want to call it. I knit it in like a it looks black, but it's like a very, very, very deep purpley black grey colour. It's really interesting, the colour. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it so much, is because it looks basic, but it's also a bit more complicated than basic. So I wear it a lot, and I really want to knit another one, but I've never really gotten around to it for some reason, I don't know. This pattern does actually call for two mohair, like two mohair silk lace strands held together. But I didn't do that. I used one strand of kid silk mohair held together with one strand of just lace weight wool, and that created a really beautiful fabric. So I've always wanted to knit another one using that same kind of makeup. So I have got half of the yarn for this. So I went to the Yarn Cake, which is a wool shop in Glasgow, and I still had money left on like the Glasgow Loves gift card that every household got like from the government to encourage us to shop on the high street in person. So I decided to spend it all on the Yarn Cake and I went back and I got these yarns, the same colourway. What can you see? The same colourway, which is shortbread. So this is merino, silk and yak. Oh, it actually says on this one, it didn't say on the last one. So it's 70% merino, 20% silk and 10% yak. And it feels really, really, really nice. Super soft. Feels really good quality. It looks like a really nice twist on it. It's very round. So I believe that would be good for cables. I could be wrong. But I have enough of this, like 2 of these is enough to knit my size in the Cumulus blouse. But I want to hold it together with a mohair. And I want to get, you know, quite a nice mohair to hold with this. So I'm holding out on, you know, whenever I have money to get some nice mohair, or I'm always constantly looking for different sales, because, you know, that opens up, you know, more opportunities to buy yarn for me if I can buy yarn on sale. So I'm just going to keep looking if there's any yarn on sale or anything like that, but that is definitely happening. I'm definitely knitting that this summer because I wear my other one out all the time and I adore this colour. I think it would go with my ginger hair. And if I get a nice mohair to go with it, then, you know. I've never actually knit a garment in hand-dyed yarn, so I'm quite worried about that, I'm not gonna lie, because honestly I am lazy and I won't want to like alternate skeins and like helical knit and all of that, so I'm definitely going to be gambling a lot in terms of like hoping there's not a big difference in the 2 skeins. I'm already like I should probably alternate skeins, but honestly I'm not that kind of person. So moving on to my next planned summer plan. And this is the Abbey sweater, which is the reason why I bought that Sanders pattern book, because I saw it and the construction of the garment, I was sucked right into this. The construction, it looks like a combination of a drop shoulder and a raglan, and construction for me is what I find like one of the most interesting things about knitting like handmade garments. I love a good construction, even like basic construction, those are the parts of knitting that, you know, are really gratifying for me, and I just love looking at the construction of garments. Is that weird? I don't know. So this one really drew me in because obviously I've never done it before, I've not seen anything like it before, So I just had to. It's super oversized though, and it actually looks like a tight gauge for lace and fingering held together. It's lace and fingering, but it's asking for 23 stitches for 4 inches. If I was holding a lace and fingering, I would be looking at maybe at least like a 21 stitch gauge, if not a 20 stitch gauge. So I don't know about that. I don't know if I might change the gauge and then, you know, adapt the pattern. Probably it's a gamble, but I really dislike knitting and wearing dense fabrics. So, you know, it's a give and take, it's a gamble, I know, but I got the pattern book and I wanted to order the yarn and knit it straight away. However, I could not find an affordable yarn combination that I liked the colours of. I was looking at combining Ching Fibre Fjord with a Drops Mohair. The sun has just gone behind the clouds, so it's probably really dark. So yeah, I was thinking about combining those two together because that would be the most affordable in terms of like, so the pattern calls for Sanders Ganton, Silk Mohair and Sunday, and Sunday is what I would consider a light fingering, and Ching Fibre Fjord is a light fingering, and it's also affordable. So therefore that's the combination I wanted, because it would give me, you know, the closest, you know, yarn makeup than what they call for. So I honestly looked for days. I kept going back to it. I kept on looking at different combinations. I was sketching it out on Procreate and honestly I couldn't come up with anything that I liked. And I was like, I am not spending all of this money on a colour combination that I don't enjoy. So then I got really sad and I just decided to like bench it and wait until there's a yarn on sale, maybe wait until they get other colours or other colours come into stock, or even just go in and looking for a different yarn. I actually began to look on Colour Mat for, instead of holding a lace and a fingering, I decided to look for a DK weight that sort of was the best of both worlds, that would give the same like fibre makeup, that would give the same gauge and overall look. And I did find one. However, I find Colour Mat yarns a gamble because sometimes they're really nice and sometimes they're not so nice to knit with, in terms of like maybe there being a lot of spinning oil in it. So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I really want to knit this one, but again, I really need to wait until I can either invest in yarn or until I make a final decision on the yarn. Just something, I don't know. I just wanted to wait until my whole heart was into it, otherwise I would have just, you know, been upset. So my next and my final garment plan is another striped design, and it is the Farnham sweater by the Knit Pearl Girl. So I really love this. Again, this is one that has an interesting construction, so obviously I was interested in that. I do love the stripes at the moment. Call me influenced, but I do. So I thought, you know, I would love to knit this one. However, this one actually has the same fibre combination that Abby, was it called the Abby sweater? I think it was. That one had it calls for Sanders Gan Tin Silk Mohair and Sanders Gan Sunday. So again, that's really expensive. I can't afford that. So I would be looking at finding a different combination. And again, I don't know if I kind of want to go down the same route in terms of like just finding a DK weight yarn, because obviously that would make it cheaper in terms of like not buying two different yarns, just buying one DK weight. But I didn't really look any further because then I got swept up into like these other patterns, so I just benched that. However, I do really want to knit that one as well. I think for the striped jumper situations, I would definitely knit the Abby sweater first, just because that's the first one I fell in love with, and also I've got the pattern. So yes, but I do really want to knit that other one. I feel like like a lot of these are gonna just roll on to like autumn winter knitwear plans, so there you go, you're getting a lot in this. So my next my last two actually aren't garments, they are accessories. So my first accessory is again from the Sanders Gan booklet, the Sanders Gan 2302 DIY booklet. It is called just the Lacey scarf. That's just what it's called. It is a small, I'm trying to look at it. It's like a small thin scarf, very similar to the Sophie scarf, or Sophie, what's it called? Yeah, Sophie scarf by Petite Knit, in terms of like, you know, how they style it, you know, the shape and size of it. I actually seen this and thought my mum would like it, and that's kind of why I want to knit it. One of the pictures they show it in like tied in the hair. I don't know if I would do that because I don't really wear my hair up, but maybe I would. I don't know. But anyway, I just really love the look of it, and I know I'm not really one for knitting accessories a lot. I do prefer to just knit a garment. However, I have found that when perhaps my mental energy is low, or I'm burnt out of knitting so many jumpers, or for example I can't make a decision on the yarn to buy for a certain jumper that I want to knit, I have found myself knitting little accessories or little projects, and I think this would be a great one to just knit as like a palette cleanser, because it is captivating enough, but I think also mindless enough. I'm trying to look. It is lacy, but it does just look like yarn overs. So, and it also looks easy to memorize. So I think that would be perfect for that, and I will probably end up knitting quite a few of those. I think the same way of like how I've knit a lot of the Sophie scarves and Sophie shawls. My memory is so bad. So my last one is the Vertices Unite shawl by Stephen West. I have not knit a Stephen West pattern. I feel like everybody has at this point, but I've not. Just because I'm not massively into like in your face shawls. I like a simple one, to be honest, and I've never really been interested in the knit alongs that he does every year, just because one, it's a lot of time to invest in something that I don't even know if I'd like, and two, I kind of want to see the finished product or project before I decide which colours to use in what section. I feel like I would just end up knitting it and then at the end be like, oh, I could have made that a lot nicer in hindsight. Anyway, but I have got a couple of one skein hand-dyed yarns that I got from the yarn cake, and I don't know what to do with them. So I found this one, and I kind of was like, I could make that. The colours that I've got are pretty similar in terms of like they're all like goldeny browny colours, so it wouldn't be like really severe colour changes. It would be more tonal. I can get them out actually. Oh, they are actually quite bright. I thought they were more subtle. So these are the colours that I got, and those are the colours that I thought would work well for the shawl. I don't know. But I've been trying to think of something special to do with these, but I don't know. I feel like that shawl would work really well. I'm just admiring the yarn. I love this one. I think this one is gorgeous. However, it's not something, like, by the looks of it, that looks like it was stripe. I could be wrong, but it looks like it was stripe. And I'm not really into that for a garment. I know that I could probably make a short sleeved, like, close fit ranunculus with these, like one skein. But I feel like I could do better. And I could knit like one of the like small summer tops like this out of one skein, but again, it's wool, and I don't know if I'd have a place in my wardrobe for a wool strappy top. So I thought a shawl would be great because it would showcase the yarn, and also, to be honest, I'd probably end up just wearing it in the house. And I do love, it's weird because I don't go out a lot, I just don't. So I love wearing my luxurious knitwear in the house and wearing my not so luxurious knitwear outside the house, which is probably different for other people. but I feel like if I knit that shawl, I would just be sat on the couch wrapped up in it, feeling like I'm made of money, feeling like really luxurious and all of that. So my point with that is that the colours are really bright, and it wouldn't be something that I would wear with an outfit, but it would be something that I wear just around the house and not caring or worrying about clashing colours or anything like that, just worrying about being comfy. So yes, that concludes all of my plans. I don't know how long this was. I really wanted to make a shorter video, but I have a feeling it's not. But yes, so that is everything. I'm really excited. I cannot wait. It's weird because during winter I'm like, why would I ever want to knit any summer designs? Like, I'm really more of like a jumper person and that's it. But the warmer it gets and the more the sun comes out, I'm like, oh, I could knit a little like vest top or something like that. So yes, I am excited. I'm excited to do a mix of everything, to be honest. You know, mix it up a little bit of variety. So I hope you are doing well. I hope you've got some exciting plans and you're excited for summer. And yeah, I will hopefully see you again soon for a podcast. I have got quite a bit to share. I finished a jumper. I started that cardigan. I started the test knit. Hopefully I won't repeat myself too much in that podcast. I do realise that I have just sat and talked about these projects, and I do want to talk about them in my podcast, so oops. Maybe I'll wait till I finish. I don't know. Anyway, so hopefully I'll see you again soon for that. and goodbye.